The Muenster Football Show is brought to you by the Muenster Booster Clubs, Romer's Restaurant, and the Muenster Chamber of Commerce. Romer's Restaurant located at 217 East Division Street on Highway 82 right there in Muenster. You can give them a call at 940-759-2973. You can find them on Facebook. Just type in Romer's Restaurant. We are once again thrilled, and I'm seriously thrilled to be able to advertise Oktoberfest in Muenster. It is truly one of our favorite things to talk about and to do. You can find out information at muensterchamber.com / Oktoberfest. I'll spit that out here in a minute. October 6th, 7th, and 8th. It is one of the funnest weekends. And the temperatures look like they should be breaking a little bit. So you can go out there if you're wanting to run. You can have the half marathon, train for the worst race, the 5K. They have the wiener dog races. I honestly, those are the more enjoyable races for me. They also, of course, have the Stein hoisting competition. All of this at Heritage Park Pavilion, 301 North Ash Street in Muenster. Again, go to muensterchamber.com / Oktoberfest. And we really do appreciate the Muenster Chamber of Commerce for advertising not only with this show, but also our Sideline to Sideline state show that we do each and every week. And this has been like their third or fourth year that they've done that, and we really do appreciate them. So if you're a Muenster person, of course, you know about the Oktoberfest. If you're not, go check it out. It is an absolute blast, I promise you. I've been a couple times. We're going to try to go now. Again, go to muensterchamber.com / Oktoberfest. Here at L4 Media, we talk high school football, 4A, 3A, and 2A in Texas. We talk East Texas sports. We talk NFL, guy talk, movie and booze. We also talk wrestling and so much more. And you can see it all on our YouTube channel at L4 Media Company. Like and subscribe. The Hornets get their first win in district. Hello, everybody. Terry Bennett here on the Muenster ISD Football Show, brought to you by Romer's Restaurant, the Muenster Booster Club, and the Muenster Chamber of Commerce. We appreciate them being sponsors as the Hornets beat the Hornets of Era 48-6 to go 1-0 in district play. Basically, this past week in 8-2A Division II, all the teams that should have won, Celeste, Collinsville, and Muenster. This week, it's going to be interesting. You got Celeste versus Lindsay. That's probably the most interesting game as far as who's playing who. Collinsville's on bye week this week. And then you've got Chico and the Hornets of Era playing each other kind of as an elimination game. The loser of that game really can't, find a path. Unless they just start pulling off huge upsets, it'll be hard to find a path to the playoffs. Let me spit that out. So this week, the big game, of course, for Muenster is Santo, but for the district as well, Celeste versus Lindsay. We're going to talk to the head coach, not only about Muenster's win and Muenster's opponent, but we'll also talk about the district. And that's kind of what we're going to do each week. At the end of the show, we'll just kind of recap what's happened in district to that point and see what he thinks about it. In fact, we're going to do all that when we come back right here on the Muenster Football Show, brought to you by the Muenster Chamber of Commerce, Romer's Restaurant, and the Booster Club. Is your demanding work lifestyle in need of fire-resistant clothing that can keep up? Well, L4FR clothing should be your go-to for quality, affordability, safety, and style. L4FR was founded by a third-generation oil field worker who is also a veteran. Thus, this company has a deep appreciation for reliability and longevity, all while we provide first-rate customer service. Our durable apparel will serve you well for many years to come, whether you're working on a pipeline, a lineman climbing utility poles, or in any other environment requiring fire-resistant apparel. L4FR has you covered. Our apparel is tough enough to resist hazardous conditions while still providing high comfort and style. L4FR provides clothing options to ensure your safety and comfort, whether you're on the job or not. To view our complete inventory of flame-resistant garments, please visit our online store at l4frclothing.com or give us a call at 817-757-4935. Si habla español. Terry Bennett back here on the Muenster Football Show. Now joined by the head coach of the Hornets, Coach Brady Carney. And, Coach, congratulations, your first district win. You beat the other Hornets 48-6. What were your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I thought we played well. I thought we played fast and physical on defense from the very beginning. I'm not sure exactly on the stats, but I think we held them to, negative yards rushing, and they probably had 130, 140 passing, but two of those were on two like 50-yard pass plays. You take those out. I felt like defensively we played really well. Offensively, we probably played better than we played all year as far as execution and no turnovers. Still had too many false start penalties there in the second quarter. I think we got a little too relaxed. But overall, and in the kicking game too, I thought Seth did a really good job kickoff-wise, putting the ball where we wanted to. So, and overall, I thought it was a good game for us, and we needed it. We needed to win like that, be able to score some points and have a dominant defensive performance.
Well, and I know we keep bringing it up, but with that schedule, I mean, you're 2-0 against 2A schools, and you've looked pretty good in both of them.
Yeah, Windthorst is a good football team. They're just young in a couple of spots, and I fully anticipate them getting better as the year goes on. I think they put it on Haskell pretty good last week. And I thought we played really good defensively versus them and ran the ball well against them as well. We didn't throw it as well against Windthorst, but we did enough to come away with the win. And like you said, against the 2A teams, we've done pretty well so far.
You're 1-0 in district. This week you're hosting Santos. Now this is a team that's completely different from last year's 10-2 team that was really good, and they lost in a good game against Wink in the playoffs. What are your thoughts when you look at the Wildcats on film this year?
Man, they did. They lost a big senior class, and Coach Mann knew that going in, and he's having to play some juniors and sophomores, and they're going to be just fine the next few years. This year they're struggling a little bit at times. They lost their quarterback, it looks like, the Thornton kid, who's an exceptional player. But man, they're D-line, O-line, they always play us really well on the defensive front, and I think they'll do the same thing tomorrow night. Offensive line-wise, defensive line-wise, I feel like that's the strength of their team for sure. Skill-wise, they don't appear to have a ton of speed on film without the Thornton kid out there, but they've got some kids that are strong kids. Fullback kid played a little quarterback against Rio Vista. He's a 190-pound kid, strong kid, runs hard. So no, man, they're going to show up and they're going to play hard. They're well coached. I think Coach Mann and those guys do an exceptional job out there coaching those kids up, and they always fight us tooth and nail, no matter what their situation is. So I don't anticipate anything different tomorrow night.
So as a coach, I'm always curious, how much information do you give your team about the other team? I mean, and I know you're watching film and stuff like that, but do y'all talk about the things like, hey, this is a team that they're struggling, injuries, or this is a team that's hot, they're 4-0? How much information do you give your team?
Well, starting on Monday, we always look at what they're doing on offense and defense, and we talk throughout the week about it. But the one thing that's a little bit different about Santo is the Thornton kid got hurt 2 or 3 weeks ago, and they played Rio Vista, and then they had a bye. So they've had 2 weeks to prepare for us, and that's one of the things we talk about. The Thornton kid may or may not play. From what I hear, he won't play, but we always anticipate him playing and them looking the same as they do on film. So, throughout the week, we're always talking about personnel and who's playing where and who may be hurt or not hurt and situations. We try to approach every game as though the kids that stand out on film are going to be playing, and we try to give as much information as we can. Like I said, anticipating them being fully healthy and playing with other kids. So, we give as much information as we can, and hopefully our kids take it and absorb it and are ready to roll on Fridays.
Well, and you bring up a good point. While this is your second district game, this is their first, and they're 1-3, and the message through the bye week is, hey, our season starts over against Muenster. We beat them. We have all of our goals still out in front of us.
Yeah, that's the same way we approached last week. It was one of those things. We're 1-3. We're coming off a tough pre-district schedule. None of that matters, but with that, understand, we can take something from those teams that beat us. And Bells, for example, you're not going to see an offensive line better than what Bells has for us. No matter who we play, we probably won't see 1 and 2A football better. We won't see a team with overall team speed and athletes like Paradise at our level. And we won't see a running back like Pottsboro had at our level. The Hill kid's an exceptional athlete at Albany, but so is the McBride kid, so, yeah, I think we all approach it the same. We try to go 1-0 each week, and that's the same thing Coach Mann's trying to tell those kids out there. Let's go out here and handle our business against Muenster, and we're 1-0 in district and still trying and able to accomplish our goal of winning a district championship.
Speaking of district, we'll wrap it up with this. The 3 teams that should have won last week won, y'all, Collinsville and Celeste. I do think the Celeste-Lindsay game is a little bit interesting this week.
I do too. I agree 100% because to me, they're mirror images of each other. You look at them and neither one of them are great at throwing the football. They both rely on good running backs and they both rely on big fronts, and they both have that. And I do think that tomorrow night will be a really interesting night for Lindsey and Celeste. I look forward to seeing the score in that because, like I said, man, those guys are just kind of mirror images of each other. Big up front, physical up front, both going to run the football at you. And, the box is going to be stacked on both sides. So I'm interested to see how that one turns out. I think it'll be a great game over in Lindsey.
Here at L4 Media, we talk high school football, 4A, 3A, and 2A in Texas. We talk East Texas sports. We talk NFL, guy talk, movie and booze. We also talk wrestling and so much more. And you can see it all on our YouTube channel at L4 Media Company. Like and subscribe. Here at L4 Media, we talk high school football, 4A, 3A, and 2A in Texas. We talk East Texas sports. We talk NFL, guy talk, movie and booze. We also talk wrestling and so much more. And you can see it all on our YouTube channel at L4 Media Company. Like and subscribe. I do want to thank Matt for joining us as he does each and every week here on the 7-4A Division I show. He does starting going forward. He hadn't been up to this point because of scheduling conflicts, but we got those figured out. And it's going to be a fun week. And, I love talking 7-4A Division I with him, not only because he knows what he's talking about, but he like me, loves this district. I think this district's going to be fun. And it's already started out, and with the big games this week, it's hard to think that we're already in week 6. Next week's week 7 of the season. But also you're going to start seeing playoff pictures starting to form. It's still early, but they're starting to form. And like with Carter versus Wilmer Hutchins, you'll get some seeding games happening this week. Want to remind everybody, if you have any questions, thoughts, or comments for the show, email them to me, Terry at S2SSport.com. If you'd like to hear our Sideline to Sideline show where we talk 4A, we also do a 3A and 2A show as well. But it's, being a Salina fan or a 7-4A Division I fan, you're wanting to know 4A. Well, Grant Goodwin and I can tell you all the 4A happenings each and every week around the state. You can check that out at S2SGrantandTerry.com or on all podcast platforms. And you can find us on YouTube as well. All right, that's going to do it for this week. Week 7's next week, and we'll talk about it then with Matt Diggs right here on the Granny's Bakery 7-4A Division I show on S2S Sports. As always, we want to thank the head coach of the Hornets, Coach Brady Carney, for joining us here. 8-2A Division II. It'll start heating up. Like I said, that Lindsey Celeste game is interesting. Collinsville's on by, of course. They'll start district, or they'll continue district play next week, and they've got Celeste in Celeste, and that's one of the key games in this district is that. And I like the fact that every team kind of gets a couple games into district before you start seeing the big dogs. Now for Muenster, you won't see the two big dogs, in my opinion, outside of Muenster until the last 2 weeks of the season. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. I have to actually ask Coach Carney about that, if he likes having them. I know most don't want them back-to-back, but does he like having them the last part of the season? Do you kind of treat that as, hey, that second-to-last district game, that kind of starts our playoffs? Because winning those two games will decide seeding. Or at least you hope that's all it'll decide. If you take care of business going into that game, you've got a playoff spot secured, then you're just trying to figure out if you're going to be the 1, 2, or 3 seed. So it's going to be interesting. Man, we're already next week when we record, it'll already be the 7th week of the season. We always joke on Sideline to Sideline. I say it almost every intro. It's kind of a running joke. I talk about how fast the season's going, but I'm not wrong. It always seems to fly by. It's already almost October. In fact, it will be October the next time you hear us talking. Until then, I'm Terry Bennett. This has been the Muenster Football Show, brought to you by Romer's Restaurant, the Booster Club, and the Muenster Chamber of Commerce, right here on S2S, part of L4 Media.